Hey everyone, it's Curiosity Whiz, and today we're diving into my 2025 WNBA Power Rankings. I've been keeping a close eye on all the teams, and trust me, there are some major shakeups this year. Let's get into where I see each team stacking up as we head into the season. At number 1, the New York Liberty. Alright, let's start with the obvious choice. The New York Liberty is the team to beat. They're fresh off a dominant 2024 championship win, and there's absolutely no reason to expect a drop-off. They've got the 2023 MVP, Breanna Stewart, Finals MVP Jonquel Jones, and Sabrina Ionescu is coming into her own as one of the best all-around players in the game. Their offense is lethal, and when they get rolling, it's hard to stop them. But it's not just their stars. They've also added depth. Player like Natasha Cloud is a great addition. They've got championship experience across the board, and that makes them even more dangerous. The Liberty have kept their core together and added the right pieces. Until someone knocks them off, they remain the #1 team in my power rankings. Now, here's where things get exciting. The Indiana Fever have made some serious noise this offseason, and I've got them at number 2 for a reason. They were already on the rise, but now they've got the firepower to potentially make a run for the title this season. Let's talk about Caitlin Clark for a second. She was an absolute phenom in college, and she's already showing that she can handle the transition to the WNBA with ease. She's an incredible playmaker, and her shooting range is ridiculous. But here's the kicker. Caitlin Clark is not just a star for the Fever. She's a serious MVP candidate this season. If she continues to shine, there's no question that she could be in the running for the league's most prestigious individual honor. Now pair that with Aaliyah Boston, one of the most dominant young players in the game today. She's a force in the paint on both sides of the ball, rebounding, defending, scoring. She does it all. And let's not forget Kelsey Mitchell, one of the league's most underrated scorers. She's been a consistent bucket for Indiana year after year, and now that she's surrounded by this level of talent, it's only going to elevate her game. Kelsey brings that veteran energy and offensive firepower that makes this team so hard to guard. Defenses won't be able to key in on just one player anymore, and that's going to open up the floor for everyone. But the Fever didn't just rely on youth. They've added veterans like DeWanna Bonner and Natasha Howard. And that's huge. These are seasoned pros who know what it takes to win. They bring leadership, playoff experience, and clutch presence when it matters most. If this team can develop the kind of chemistry I'm expecting, they'll be one of the most dangerous teams in the league. I've got them at number 2 right now, but don't be surprised if they overtake some of the bigger names in the coming months. The Fever are on the rise, and they might just snatch the championship this year. At number 3, the Minnesota Lynx. The Lynx have been a staple in the league for years, and it's not going to change anytime soon. They're consistently one of the best teams, and they've got one of the best coaches in the game in Cheryl Reeve. Her system, her leadership, it just breeds winning basketball. Nafisa Collier is still an absolute beast. She can do it all. She scores, rebounds, defends, and leads by example. She's the heart and soul of this team, and she plays with that fire you want in a franchise cornerstone. But here's what really sets the Lynx apart in 2025. They have the deepest bench in the entire league. Straight up, no other team is getting the kind of consistent, high-level production from their role players the way Minnesota is. Whether it's offense, defense, energy off the bench, they've got players who step up and contribute in meaningful ways every single night. They may not have the flashiest names or the most hyped roster, but that's the beauty of the Lynx. They don't need it. Their role players buy in, they execute, and they play for each other. That level of cohesion is rare. They play tough, hard-nosed basketball, and when it's playoff time, that style wins games. If they stay healthy, and if that bench continues to show out like they have been, they're going to be a real threat. I've got them locked in at number 3, and honestly, don't be surprised if they're still standing in the Final Four. At number 4, the Aces have been a top-tier team for the past few seasons, and they're still very much in the championship conversation. Aja Wilson is one of the best players in the world. She dominates the paint, defends at an elite level, and scores with incredible efficiency. She's the centerpiece of this team, no question. Now, the Aces have gone through some changes this season. They've lost a few key pieces, including Kelsey Plum, which definitely shifts their identity a bit. But what keeps them dangerous is how they reload, not rebuild. Jewel Lloyd joining the squad is a huge move. She's one of the most explosive scorers in the league, and her ability to create offense on her own is going to be crucial in keeping the Aces competitive on the offensive end. They've still got championship DNA, experienced leaders, and a strong system. If the role players can step up and fill the gaps left by off-season departures, Las Vegas is still very much in the title hunt. At number 5, the Los Angeles Sparks. The Sparks have made some serious moves this offseason, and they're starting to look like a real threat again. Bringing in Kelsey Plum was a massive boost. She brings championship experience, elite scoring, and veteran leadership to a young, developing squad. This team is built around a promising young core, and two names you absolutely need to watch are Rickea Jackson and Cam Brink. Rickea is a versatile wing with size, athleticism, and a scorer's mindset. She's got the tools to be a breakout star. And once Cam Brink returns from her ACL injury, she'll anchor the defense and stretch the floor with her unique skill set. Her presence alone changes the game on both ends. The Sparks have a ton of potential. They might not be title favorites just yet, but if they find consistency and stay healthy, they can absolutely challenge the top teams. It's all about execution, growth, and trusting the process. Don't sleep on LA this year. They've got the firepower and the youth to surprise a lot of people. At number 6, the Atlanta Dream. The Atlanta Dream have been quietly building something special. With Ryan Howard leading the way, the Dream have one of the most dynamic young players in the game. They've also made some great moves this offseason, bringing in players like Brittany Griner and Brianna Jones. The Dream are tough, gritty, and they have the potential to upset some of the bigger names in the league. If they can build some chemistry, they'll be a team that other franchises don't want to face in the playoffs. I wouldn't be shocked to see them climb up the rankings by mid-season. At number 7, the Seattle Storm. Seattle's in a bit of a transition year, and that's reflected in my rankings. But don't sleep on them. They've retooled in a smart way and brought have proven veterans to help steady the ship. They've got Skylar Diggins, who brings that elite playmaking, leadership, and scoring. Pair her with Nneka Ogwumike, another battle-tested vet with championship experience and a high basketball IQ, and you've suddenly got a foundation that can carry this team deep into games. And here's the wild card. Dominique Malonga, the French prodigy they just drafted at number 2. Her ceiling is insanely high. She's raw, but the talent is there. If she adjusts quickly to the WNBA pace, she's going to be a problem for opposing defenses. They've got leadership, youth, and upside. And if things click, they might finish higher than people expect. At number 8, the Phoenix Mercury. The Mercury are stepping into a brand new era this season. With Diana Taurasi retiring, one of the greatest to ever play the game has officially passed the torch. And now it's all about the next chapter in Phoenix. They made some major moves in the offseason and brought in Alyssa Thomas, who might be one of the most versatile players in the league. She can literally play from center to point guard, and she's a walking triple-double threat. Her toughness, playmaking, and leadership are going to give this team a whole new identity. On top of that, they added Satu Sabali, who brings size, skill, and scoring versatility. If she stays healthy, she's going to be a huge piece on both ends of the floor. And let's not forget, they still have Kalia Copper, who can light it up and bring elite athleticism to the wing. This team has all the tools to be competitive. They're not in a rebuild, they're reloaded. Chemistry will be the key, especially with so many new faces. But if they click, Phoenix is a serious dark horse heading into this season. At number 9, the Dallas Wings. I've got the Dallas Wings at number 9 in my power rankings, but this team is still very much in the mix. Depending on how the season unfolds, they could easily sneak into that 8th playoff spot. Now let's talk about the heart of this team, Arike Ogunbowale. She's still one of the most electric scorers in the league. Her ability to create her own shot and hit clutch buckets keeps Dallas competitive in any game. When she's locked in, she can carry this team offensively. This year, Dallas added some new energy by drafting Paige Buchers with the #1 overall pick. She's coming off a national championship with UConn. But if we're being honest, she'll need to stop being passive and step into a leadership role quickly. The talent is there, no question, but she has to assert herself if this team wants to take that next step. Losing Satu Sabali hurts, especially on the offensive end, but the Wings still have pieces that can get the job done. If the young players develop, and if Paige and Ariki can find chemistry, Dallas could make things interesting down the stretch. At number 10, the Chicago Sky. I've got Chicago at number 10 in my rankings, but they've got a path forward if certain pieces step up. With Chennedy Carter gone, they've lost their top offensive option from last season, and that's a big gap to fill. For the Sky to be successful, Camila Cardoso has to make that leap and become the focal point of the offense. She's got the size and skill. Now it's about confidence and execution. The return of Courtney Vandersloot gives them a steady hand and veteran leadership at the point, which they'll need badly. And of course, Angel Reese is still a beast on the boards, but she's going to have to finish better around the rim to really elevate her game and impact. This team's got some grit, but they'll need chemistry and growth to compete for a playoff spot. It's not impossible, but the margin for error is small. At number 11, the Washington Mystics. Washington's in a full-on rebuild right now, and that's why I've got them at number 11 in my power rankings. But don't count them out just yet. They've made some solid moves that could pay off down the line. They drafted some promising rookies this year like Sonia Citron, Kiki Iriafen, and Georgia Amour, who unfortunately suffered an ACL injury before the preseason. That was a tough blow, but there's still a lot of upside in this young core. They've also got a strong veteran presence in Stephanie Dolson, who brings leadership and toughness in the paint. And don't forget about Aaliyah Edwards. Now in her second year, she's physical, energetic, and could take a real step forward this season. It's a developmental year for the Mystics. They might not make a playoff push, but this is the kind of season that sets up future success. If the young talent gets reps and finds chemistry, Washington's rebuild could move faster than people expect. At number 12, the Connecticut Sun. It feels wild to have the Sun this low, but this is a completely different team from what we saw last season. They lost all of their starters from last year and also parted ways with head coach Stephanie White, so it's a full reset in Connecticut. The only notable player sticking around is Marina Mabre, and while she can definitely hoop, she's going to need a lot of help carrying this new-look roster. The Sun brought in Tina Charles for some veteran leadership and stability, which should help keep the locker room grounded. They also drafted Anessa Morrow and Sanya Rivers, two promising rookies with real upside, especially defensively and in transition. But let's be honest, it's going to take time. This squad needs to figure out who they are, develop chemistry, and start building from the ground up. For now, it's a developmental year in Connecticut, but the potential for future growth is definitely there. At number 13, the Golden State Valkyries. As the brand new expansion team in the league, the Golden State Valkyries are going to need time. Plain and simple. They haven't played a single official game together yet, and that lack of chemistry is going to show early on. Most of their roster is made up of European talent, which brings some skill and flair. But here's the tricky part. A lot of those players will be leaving mid-season for Eurobasket, which could totally shake up their rotation. Right now, the Valkyries are still trying to find their identity, figure out who their leaders are, and build some sort of cohesion. It's going to be a season full of learning curves, but that's what comes with being the new kid on the block. They're not expected to contend this year, and it's all about building a foundation. Let's see how they grow. Curiosity Whiz's final thoughts. So, there you have it. My official power rankings for the 2025 WNBA season. The New York Liberty are holding strong at the top, but let's be real. This season feels wide open. Don't sleep on the Indiana Fever and Minnesota Lynx. Of course, it's a long season. Injuries, chemistry, and momentum can shift everything. Teams will rise, others might fall, and a few surprises always shake things up. But as of now, this is how I see the league stacking up based on the talent, potential, and early signs we've seen. I'll be watching closely and updating as we go. So if you're a real WNBA fan or just getting into it, stay locked in. This season's going to be wild. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel.